got 49 faith, let's get it.
Because it's 49 in mind.
We gotta do this one time for the Empire.
It's 49 in mind. It's 49 in mind.
We gotta get that brick by brick real quick.
49 in mind.
Yeah, Yo, we can't listen to them haters, man.
49 in mind.
We from the Bay.
49 in mind.
We them San Francisco 49ers.
49 in mind.
We got that red and gold blood inside us.
49 in mind.
Oh yeah, freak out, yeah, I'm looking right into the video scope, and this is Macho Man, #1 Macho Man impersonator, past, present, future, yeah, and I'm here to tell you, you are watching 49er Minded with Bashar, yeah, the cream of the crop, dig it?
Thank you very much, Macho Man. Ooh, yeah. Welcome to another edition of 49er Minded. I am your host, Bashar, and today I'm pretty excited because I have a very popular guy on our show today. This young man is known for calling a whole lot on the Grant Cohn Show. They call him a Grant Cohn Phone Hall of Famer. He's very bright. A lot of, I don't want to say kid, I won't call him a young man, but a lot of his peers aren't really up on football like he is. I know myself, I wasn't as big on football as he is currently right now. And I'm going to bring him on right now. His name is Amin the Dream. How's it going, Amin? Welcome to the show.
Appreciate you having me. I'm glad to be on.
Oh, man, it's pretty awesome having you on, man. Every time, maybe I saw you for the first time on Cone Phone, probably a little bit after the draft or a little bit before the draft. I can't remember exactly when, but saw you all the time on there around the time I was watching because, everybody was trying to watch Shardal and see what Shardal has to say. And in between, I saw you and Waruna and a few other guys calling all the time. So let me just say what's up to a couple of people in the chat really quick. Oh, you're in the chat. There you are. It's just because it's 49 Minded. I mean, the Dreams in the chat at the same time. Okay, here we go. All right, we got Corey Davis, big supporter of the channel. How's it going, man? Nice to have you on here. Got Moses Martinez, OG49er 559. Follow him up on Twitter at OG49er559. And we have What's Up. He says, "What's up, 49er? What's up, everyone? Happy Friday." We have Bay Area Baller 18. How's it going, Bay Area Baller? Good to have you on, man. Definitely subscribe to Bay Area Baller's channel. And I do have Amin's social media links up in the video description as well. So just to get things started, we have some other people. Here we go. Sorry, I don't want to skip these people. David Yang, I call him David Yang Yang Twins. What's up, man? Nice, long time no see. Remember this guy from the Hockey Hater channel? Says, Amin, any love for Jenny? We're gonna find that. We're gonna find that out later. We got 49er Tone. What's up, man? 49er Tone, 49er Minded. Let's go. Subscribe to this guy's channel. I had him on twice on my show. He's very knowledgeable and very entertaining as well. Definitely check out 49er Tone. Glad to have him on the chat while we're doing the show. So it's Amin the Dream right here. I believe you're 15 years old. Is that correct?
14.
Okay. My bad. Okay, he's 14. Big difference. Just kidding. So when I was 14, I was obviously watching the 49ers at the time. Montana was winning Super Bowls with Jerry Rice, and I was just getting into football. I was excited to be there. If anything, I was playing Tecmo Bowl at the same time, and a few years later, we started playing Madden and started watching Steve Young. But when I first got into football, I wasn't this guy that knew everything about it. I was more or less just happy to be there. And if anything, along the way, I'd ask my friends questions, during the games or just, with our random little football talk. But how did you become a 49er fan exactly? How did that all go down?
So half of my family is a Raiders fan and half of my family are Niners fans. But whenever I would go to gatherings and picnics and just parties at my family's house, there would always be a Niners game on, especially if there's parties on Sundays. There would always be a Niners game on, and I just got interested in it when I was 4, 5, 6 years old. But I never necessarily followed it and fully watched every game and studied the team like I do now. But I just started getting interested in it. And I wanted to learn more and more about 49ers and football in general. And then after a while, like I would just sometimes like go on YouTube and just search up, like 49er highlights and just learn about the 49ers. And one person who actually like influenced me a lot to become a Niners fan was my uncle. Because my uncle, he's a huge Niners fan. He has like season tickets for almost like 20 years now. So my uncle, like whenever I would go to his house, he would watch Niners game. He would actually like teach me stuff about the Niners. So my uncle is one of the biggest reasons why I'm a Niner fan today. So yeah,
That's so cool. He must be the cool uncle of the family then, huh?
yeah.
The fun uncle. That's cool. That's awesome, man. Do you remember the first game you attended and who we were playing?
The first game I probably attended was probably when Colin Kaepernick or Blaine Gabbert. I forgot who was the starting quarterback. But that was the first time game. They were playing the Cardinals, I think at home. And we just lost by like 6 points. I think it was like a 19-13 loss. We lost to the Cardinals. Jim Tom Sula, Chip Kelly. That was like my first game that I probably went to.
Did we win that game? Do you remember? Or
No, we lost 19-13. That was when
oh, okay.
Carson Palmer was the quarterback for the Cardinals.
Oh, okay. Who was the quarterback for us? Do you remember? Was it Alex
That was like
Smith
Gabbert. I
or?
think it's Gabbert.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It probably was Gabbert. Yeah. Have you ever had experiences meeting any players by any chance? Were you ever fortunate to meet any players or?
So I was never fortunate to meet like a player, but one of my dad's coworkers at work, he had someone who worked in the Niners. So he gave us like a whole stadium with the entire tour and like whole stadium of the entire like stadium. He gave us a whole tour of the stadium. Like we even like went up to like how like John Lynch and Jerry Rice and those people sit up top, and we went to go see that, and we just saw so much about like the stadium. I even walked on the field because one of my dad's friends, obviously he works there, so I got to like have that experience. But I never met any players in specific.
But this was over at Levi's, right?
Yeah, Levi's.
Did you get to check out the museum?
No.
Yeah, that's one thing I haven't done at Levi's yet is check out the museum. And there's all kinds of areas in Levi's that are like kind of private sections. So I have been to that part on the home side where for like the season ticket holders, where they have like a restaurant and a bar and it's all nice and bougie or whatever. I have been to that side, but I haven't seen the museum or other stuff. Let me see what's up to a few other people here really quick. I missed some people. Michael Miller wants to get on the show in the future. Not it's just a one-on-one type of deal today. What's up, Michael Miller? This guy's very famous, by the way. We got Pinor. What's up, Bay Pinor gang? Says it's 49er minded. We got Michael Miller says boo. 49er first take. Where is he at? Subscribe to this channel, 49ers first takes. Says, what's up, guys? This is Aaron, really good content creator on YouTube. Subscribe to this channel. He's got a lot of good stuff on there. I was a guest on there one time. We got D Nasty with a personal question. What part of India are your parents from, and do you speak any other languages? Are you okay to answer that?
Yeah, my parents are from Mumbai. I don't know if people know what Mumbai is, but they're from Mumbai. And I don't necessarily speak any other languages because my mom speaks English and so do I. So whenever my dad tries to speak his language, we don't necessarily like my mom sometimes doesn't understand, so we just speak English at home.
Okay, yeah. Mumbai used to be called Bombay. From when I was a kid, they used to call it Bombay, and then they changed it later throughout the years. I do remember that. Okay, so what was your first jersey that you ever had as a 49er fan? First Niner jersey?
Kaepernick was my guy. Kaepernick was my guy for a long time. My cousins had their Patrick Willis jersey, and I had my Kaepernick jersey. I was repping my Kaepernick jersey for a long, long time until he was off the team. My second jersey I remember that I got was Carlos Hyde. He was the running back for our team for a couple of years. So I had his jersey, and then he sadly left. So right now, and then I also had the Jimmy jersey, and he's probably going to leave soon. So all the jerseys that I've had, at least like in 2 or 3 years, if gone, they're off the team. Hopefully that's different. I have my Lance jersey also, so hopefully that's different. But those are some of the jerseys that I've had.
Michael Miller says his first jerseys were Jerry Rice and Joe. Hey, not bad. Me, when I first got into football, like my last year elementary school, it was like I think in that era, like players, it was before free agency, so you had a jersey, and there's a good chance that player retired with that team. Nowadays, it's like you buy a jersey and you almost like stop for a second. You're like, hold up, wait, is this guy going to be with the team any longer? How many years are left in his contract? Oh wait, he might get traded. So you kind of have these like second thoughts of going on in your head when it comes to buying jerseys.
Yep. One funny story that I have about like the jerseys that like my cousins. Now, they had Patrick Willis, obviously retired, and they didn't buy like a jersey for almost like 2 or 3 years. And then Reuben Foster was drafted, and he was like balling out. So then my uncle takes him to like the actual Niners store because we went to a game. And he said, "You want to buy a jersey?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. I have my Carlos Hyde jersey." both of my cousins bought Reuben Foster jerseys, and like in a couple of months or like a couple of weeks, their jerseys, $200 that he spent on both my cousins' jerseys, was gone to waste. My uncle spent like $200 on both my cousins' jerseys, gone to waste because he was cut off the team. So I feel bad for them, but they got the Bosa and Kittle jersey. But you never know with these players, man. They could get cut, they could get traded. You really don't know.
Yeah, or you can always donate those jerseys to the Goodwill. I remember going to the 40. There was a 49ers store in the mall at Valley Fair Mall in San Jose, and I used to walk in there and ask them, "Hey, when you guys getting the Alden Smith jersey? When you guys getting the Alden Smith jersey?" And they never had it in stock. It was like, the moment they had it, within a blink of an eye, it was gone. And then I walked in one day and boom, they finally had it. And I was telling myself, should I buy it? Should I buy it? And I walked out of the store and I didn't buy it for whatever reason. So I told myself not to buy it. I don't know why. Literally the next day was like the first day that Alden Smith had his like big drunk driving incident where he crashed into a car or something when he was sleeping or something. And at that point, it went all downhill for Alden Smith. So I was like, okay, good thing I held off on buying that jersey. But my first jersey was Garrison Hurst, by the way, in case anybody wants to know. So in this day and age with like the internet and social media, and people obviously love football. It's the biggest thing out there in terms of professional sports. What made you wake up one day and say, "Hey, I want to make a YouTube channel"?
So obviously now people do know that I call into the cone phone. I still do sometimes, but I called into the cone phone, and then two of my other friends, Not Trevor Sports Kid and Benjamin Camperman, they also call into the cone phone. They had their own YouTube channels before I did. And I would go on their shows, and I would talk for 49ers and football with them. And I was like, why not? One day I just decided, I've been on their shows. I've called into the cone phone so many times that why not just start my own channel where I could have, like, guests on and, just talk sports with a bunch of guests instead of, like, keep calling it on cone phone, waiting every Sunday to call into cone phone or, whenever my friends, like those two guys, ask me to do a stream and go on their channel, why not start my own channel and, just start talking about sports?
That's cool. Yeah, it's good practice for those of you who are thinking about making a YouTube channel. If you jump on to other people's streams, especially if you're on camera, when you jump on to other people's call-in shows, it kind of gives you an idea whether or not this is for you or not. Now, obviously, when you're running your own channel, there's a whole lot more responsibility and everything just increases and the stress levels increase and all that. So, but it kind of gives you a little taste of what to expect when you do call in on such shows, especially if you're on your little webcam. Let me say what's up to a couple of people here really quick. Well, I already said what's up to Corey, but he did say something that I really, really appreciate. And he said, Corey Davis said, I just shared your live video in about 50 groups, probably on Facebook, but I really, really appreciate it. This guy did all the legwork for me. I didn't even have to do that. Thank you very much. Bay Area Baller says, damn, that's rough. I think he's talking about my Alden Smith experience when I tried to buy his jersey. 49ers First Take says, my rule, never buy quarterback jerseys. I might buy a Trey Lance jersey, though. That's one guy who will probably stick around. Norm 209er Empire, what's up, man? Subscribe to this guy's channel. Says, what's up with the faithful? He's the guy who always says it's Niners all day. And Bay Area Baller 18, I forgot to say subscribe to his channel as well. Really big Niner fan. All right, so I always have a little food portion of my show, no pun intended. And, somebody says, hey, if your dad says, hey, yo, Amin, today we're going to go to the restaurant of your choice. It's your birthday. Out of all the choices you got in the Bay Area, where are you going, Amin?
Well, one of my favorite restaurants. I usually like Mexican food or Italian food, but one of my favorite places that I go to is, I don't know if you guys have been to El Torito. It's like this place in San Leandro.
I have.
It's called El Torito. It's really nice. It's really good. So if I go out, it'd probably be like somewhere like El Torito. And if El Torito's probably like really packed, I'll go like El Torito, or I'll go to like somewhere like the Cheesecake Factory. I went to like the Cheesecake Factory on my birthday, and they were so short staffed. Like we waited like an hour to get my food. And then, like, even the food order was wrong. And at the end of the day, we were stuffed on bread. So we are just like, you know what? Like, this is just some point.
Was this post-COVID?
No, this was like just last month for my birthday.
Okay, yeah, I'm saying this is like during the whole COVID experience. I noticed some restaurants are shorthand from time to time, and the service isn't what it used to be, and it kind of sucks. But okay, so one more food question. We're going to head off to talk about this 49ers versus Green Bay Packers Sunday night game. I know people are amped up, and while we talk football, if you guys have questions, throw them up in the chat. I can't answer every single question. I can't guarantee that, but along the way, we will get to those questions here and there. Okay, this is about pizza. I'm always talking about pizza. I own a pizza oven. I make my own pizza from time to time. Everybody loves pizza. A lot of people watch football, and they eat pizza at the same time. 49ers First Take does that every game, from what I understand. So if somebody says, "Hey, I'm going to give you a slice of New York style pizza or Chicago style deep dish pizza," which slice are you going for?
I'm going New York style. I've had Chicago style pizza. One time last year we were in Sacramento. Me and my family went to like a vacation and on like winter break, and we went to Sacramento, and there was deep dish pizza. We ordered deep dish pizza, and I didn't really like it. I mean, there's sauce, but there's like so much more cheese than there is sauce on the deep dish pizza. So I'm just like, what is this? Like, I'm just eating cheese. It's not really that good, so I would choose New York style pizza over Chicago style.
Got it. You like to fold your pizza when you eat it. Then do you fold it?
No, I like had to remove all majority of the cheese because I'm like, bro, this is like too much. Like I'm just eating cheese.
What's up, Varuna? Varuna's here. Says, I never liked pizza. Can you believe that? Varuna is a writer for Sports Illustrated, all 49ers on all 49ers Sports Illustrated website. Check him out. And 49ers First Take says, don't eat during the game that gives you achita. That's he taught me that word. It's acid reflux in Italian. No? Yeah, Chicago deep dish pizza is pretty cheesy actually. If you already ate stuff during the day, I wouldn't suggest eating it because it'll make you crazy fool. All right, we got this game coming up. Our home opener. We won 2 games on the road. We're 2-0. A lot of people, are really excited and happy. Some people think we're a Super Bowl team. Some people don't. I think honestly, it's way too early to go that far. That's just how I am. I never say Super Bowl within the first 2 weeks of any season for any team out there. I don't care who the team is. But we're playing Green Bay. I mean, honestly, my outlook on the season was pretty down after week 1 because we lost Verrett. But hey, we didn't look too bad against the Eagles. Obviously, there's a lot of room for improvement. But this week we face Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. I mean, do you have any thoughts about that matchup?
I mean, it's obviously hard to, it's hard for any defense to go up against Aaron Rodgers because we know what Aaron Rodgers can do. And like Stephen A. Smith says all the time, Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. And Aaron Rodgers is definitely a bad man. But, I mean, for me with this specific game is that obviously the Packers, they don't have David Bakhtiari and their second string left tackle. He's obviously injured. So Bosa, he's doubtful for the game. He's doubtful. I don't think he's going to play. Majority of the time when a player is doubtful, they're not likely playing the game on Sunday. But with Bosa going up against the third string, I feel like we can bring pressure to Aaron Rodgers. And we saw what happened when we don't let Aaron Rodgers sit in the pocket and throw the ball. So I feel like with our defensive line, especially with all their injuries and without having Bakhtiari, with losing Corey Linsley in the offseason, I think we have a pretty good chance. And I think the defense is going to bring a lot of pressure to Aaron Rodgers. So I think I'm pretty confident. But I will say the cornerbacks is one thing I will be concerned about, right? I just think our D-line is good. So I think we are going to come out with this game in that way because our defense is good. But the cornerbacks, I definitely do say we have to worry about because Devontae Adams, he's also another elite receiver. And whoever's guarding up against whoever's trying to guard Devontae Adams, whether that's Josh Norman, whoever that is, it's going to be a tough matchup for them.
Yeah. My assumption is they probably put Josh Norman on Devontae Adams just for the simple fact. I'm just playing it by default. The simple fact that he's a veteran, former Pro Bowl player. Not saying he's still at that elite level that he once was, but he didn't look too bad in the Philly game, at least. Going up against the young, speedy receivers of Jalen Rieger and Devontae Smith. So we have another Devontae this time around. This is the real deal Devontae that we're facing now. So it's kind of scary because, Aaron Rodgers has that arm and he's been known to shred teams. But, hey, the last few outings against us, last year was kind of a scratch because we were the most banged up team in the league. Mm-hmm. So if we lose to that our banged up team is going to lose to most teams. So, but in general, we've done pretty well against Aaron Rodgers, and I love that because I can't stand Aaron Rodgers. The fan in me is not like Aaron Rodgers one bit. When he got drafted by Green Bay, he said something really snotty to the media about the 49ers, and, I know the 49ers passed up on him or whatever, but I just think that
that was probably a huge mistake when you look back at it right now. But at the end of the day, who knows what Aaron Rodgers would have been with the Niners, right? Because with the Packers, we would have no clue what Aaron Rodgers would have been with the Niners. I remember those Mike Singletary days. I don't know how good he would have been.
Our coaching was very dismal back then because it was the Mike Nolan era. This is even before Singletary was the head coach. Was Mike Nolan, and we kept switching coordinators like every freaking year with Mike Nolan. So I don't know how Aaron Rodgers would have panned out early on in his career, maybe he would have overcame that because he's just such an amazing talent, or maybe he would have hit a lot of bumps and bruises along the way. But he sat behind Brett Favre for how long, 2 or 3 years, and then he was ready to play. So who knows how it would have played out? It would have been different. And the Aaron Rodgers we saw in the pros is not the Aaron Rodgers at UC Berkeley. The Aaron Rodgers at UC Berkeley did have some shortcomings, and people had a lot of doubt in him. It wasn't like he was this perfect, amazing quarterback that was destined to be the number one pick overall, because he wasn't. And there were some questions about him, which is part of the reason why he slipped. But I just did not like his snotty attitude coming out. So when we beat him and when we had those games where we're rocking him and sacking him left and right and hitting him, I'm like, cool, this is awesome. I love it. I love beating Aaron Rodgers.
Hey,
Case in point. Go ahead.
I mean, can you blame Aaron Rodgers though? Like, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a California guy. He played at UC Berkeley. He played at Cal. And he wanted to be drafted by the Niners. We all knew this. And then the Niners passed up on him for Alex Smith. Right now, Alex Smith he wasn't like one of those people that I want to be on the Niners. No, he didn't come on and say, I want to be on the Niners. We all knew Aaron Rodgers wanted to be on the Niners. So the fact that Aaron Rodgers slipped, and he slipped he was drafted I think 20 teams passed up on Aaron Rodgers that draft. So I mean, when he comes out and says that, I mean, as much as Niners fans don't like it, but I mean, I would feel the same way, because if I was a quarterback and I wasn't in the draft and I wanted to be drafted by the Niners, and the Niners had the opportunity to draft me and they just passed up on me, it's kind of one of those situations.
And I mentioned the fact that we changed coordinators all the time under Nolan. What happened was when Aaron Rodgers came to be interviewed, Mike McCarthy was our coordinator for 1 year. And he was actually there in the building when they interviewed Aaron Rodgers. And then what the rumor was, so what I've been hearing, or what I heard many times in articles, was that when Aaron Rodgers walked into Santa Clara, he had his shades on in the building, and McCarthy just kept mouthing off how he didn't like that, and he was telling Nolan that, and like, don't draft this guy, he's too cocky, and blah 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 blah. And plot twist, McCarthy leaves us to where? Green Bay. Who ends up being his quarterback, his Super Bowl winning quarterback years later? Aaron Rodgers. And I feel like punching McCarthy out for this one. I swear, man. If I saw the guy in person,
mind games, okay? Mind games.
I'd yell something at him or scream something at him if I saw the guy. Maybe I want to hit him, but it's just that's just so irritating. That irritates me. It's a good buddy of mine, Steve, over in Texas. What's up, man? Says Stat Boy Aaron is going to be on the floor. Yeah, he better be on the floor if Nick Bosa is potentially going up a third string left tackle. They didn't confirm it just yet, but there was agreement.
He's doubtful.
Yeah.
Jenkins is doubtful.
Jenkins. Yeah, he's doubtful. Bakhtiari, of course, is a monster pass rusher, and that him being out is a lifesaver for us. Now Bosa did well against him in the past, of course, which is nice. But hey, we don't have to worry about him this time around. And I just don't. Sure, I can picture. Part of me can see Aaron Rodgers sitting back there and just throwing up the ball at will to Devontae Adams or whoever else, and trying to test Diamador Lenore, who's a very good rookie. Not saying he's perfect, but he's looked pretty damn good so far, and we're lucky to have him because we're short. We're short beyond belief at corner. Yeah. I just hope he continues to progress. Hopefully he gets an interception maybe in this game or next few games. Drake Kirkpatrick is a veteran cornerback that we signed. We didn't see him play last time. Ambry Thomas is a very questionable rookie. We haven't seen much from him. He hasn't looked too great.
Last week.
Yeah, he was a healthy scratch last week. He didn't even play last week. So I still have hope in Ambry Thomas somewhere down the road, just for the simple fact that he didn't play football last year. So, it would be nice for somebody to step up in our secondary because we need it bad, and especially when you're playing guys like Aaron Rodgers. And we do have D Ford to help out in the pass rush. We got Arden Key. We have Sosa, Sampson, Ibukam. So, and our D tackles, when they're on point, they can rush up the middle too. Contavious 3 had a sack. It was against Detroit, I believe. He had a sack.
Yep.
So we need all these guys to step up, and where I saw DJ Jones put up a lot of pressure in the last game as well, and we have very strong rotation. All right, so that's the side as far as whether or not, what to expect from Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, he's going to try to test our young DBs. I already know it. And our pass rush, of course, just has to be the factor for us. Bay Area Baller 18 says, is Sermon going to get all the carries or who will spell them? Do you want to answer that question?
I mean,
Trey Sermon?
Are any of the other running backs playing besides Sermon? I know Mitchell's out for the game. He's not playing.
He's doubtful, they said.
He's doubtful. Jermichael Hasty's out for sure. That's what I know.
Oh, really? Hasty's out for sure, huh?
He's out. So.
Oh, wow. Who do they have?
They have Jaquise Packer that they drafted.
Yeah.
They had someone that they drafted, Chris Thompson, in the practice squad. I don't know if
Yeah, from
those
the
guys are gonna
Redskins.
suit
I mean,
up.
from the football team. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, I don't even know if those guys are gonna suit up, right? So if they do suit up, because
Yeah,
they've only been in practice for like 3 days, they're still new to this team. So if they do play, then I don't think Sermon's gonna get all the carries. But most likely, I don't think they're gonna play because they just came to our team like a couple of days ago. So they're still trying to learn the offense and get used to this team. So I think Sermon is pretty much gonna get all the carries.
yeah. You wouldn't want Sermon to get the bulk of the carries considering his concussion from last week,
Yeah.
because ideal situation. Elijah Mitchell plays and they split carries, and you're saying Hasty's not playing. Whoa, that's a big blow. I thought Hasty might play. Hopefully Mitchell does play. They said doubtful. We'll see what happens, man. He might be a day to day guy that ends up playing, but we need Sermon out there to definitely help us big time in this game. The running game is so important to our offense, and who knows? Maybe because the opposing defense may key on the run a bit more this game. You never know. Maybe we'll see Trey Lance out there because we all know if Trey Lance is on the field, everybody knows this. The run game, the holes for the run game are going to open up a whole
Yeah.
lot more once Trey Lance is on the field.
I
That
Like for me, it's when if the run like last week, right? The run game wasn't working, and Jimmy had to throw the football. He threw the football like 30 times last week because the run game just wasn't there. Both Elijah Mitchell and both Michael Hasty, like both of those guys had less than 50 rushing yards. So both those guys, the run game wasn't there last week. So if that happens this week, we're gonna have to. The game is on Jimmy's shoulders, so Jimmy's gonna have to play really well, which I don't know if he has the capability of doing, where he could throw 30 times and complete majority of his passes, be efficient, make right decisions. I don't know if he can do that. So if the run game isn't there this week, then I will be concerned, and I think we should put in Trey Lance if the run game isn't working, because Trey Lance will definitely help the running game out a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I think there's this whole thing with the whole Jimmy and Trey thing because people are suspecting, oh, why didn't Trey play last week? And there were times I thought Trey should have stepped in, especially to help the run game out, because there were times when it took a while for our run game to get going. And again, you throw Trey out there. I just think the run game is easy. It's a lot, it's a bit easier to have the run game going when he's on the field. And I was going to say something. I don't know why I forgot. Had a brain fart. Let me just see this really quick. Give me 1 second. But let me get back to this really quick because in the passing game, this is about Jimmy G and Trey. Here we go. People are speculating that we may still be trying to trade Jimmy G. Therefore, we're not putting Trey Lance on the field, and we're saying, hey, we have this NFL level starting quarterback on our team, and hey, we're displaying his talents, we're showcasing him. So therefore, if we take him out and then put Trey in, it lessens his value. I don't think Jimmy has much value, anyways. I think our team waited way too long to try to manufacture any trade for Jimmy G. That's me, but that's part of the reason why they were saying last week that Trey didn't step on the field. I don't know what you think about that.
I mean, Jimmy doesn't have trade value. Jimmy's not even the first 2 games. Jimmy threw like 2 touchdowns in the first 2 games. He even in the Eagles game, like the Eagles first half, missing throws left and right, couldn't do nothing in the first half. Jimmy has no trade value, mainly also because he has lots of injuries, so he's not reliable. The best ability is availability. He can't stay on the field, number one, and number two, in the situation he is, right? Let's say let's say a banged up team, let's say the Washington football team or some bad team trades for like Houston, or they make a trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. Will Jimmy G have the same success in Houston or in a bad team with a bad offensive line, with a bad play caller, with bad receivers? No. Jimmy's in the perfect situation, and still Jimmy's not wowing anybody. Jimmy's just doing the right things this year, but even with his injuries and even with his injuries and just how sometimes his bad decision making, and even last year when he played, right? If you look at some of the games last year he played, he freaking holds the football and he stands like a statue and he would get sacked. Like, nobody wants the type of quarterback on their team. Majority of Jimmy's success is not because he carries the team like Russell Wilson. He doesn't. He's not going to carry the team like Russell Wilson. He's not single-handedly getting the Niners wins. It's him sometimes making mistakes and the defense bailing him out. Or the run game, rushing for all the running backs, the running back committee running for like 100 rushing yards. It's those guys helping him out. It's not Jimmy having the game on his back and him carrying the team to a win. It's not. What team is necessarily gonna want Jimmy Garoppolo with his injury history? And that's pretty much it. What team is gonna want Jimmy Garoppolo with his injury history? I wouldn't want. If I'm a GM, I don't want I don't want Jimmy G with his injury history. I don't. I just don't with his injury history. And the Niners aren't going to give him up for his 5th round or 6th round pick.
I'm gonna get into that in just a second. I just want to say what's up to somebody here. What's up, Tommy Huxley? He said, "Who is the clown who disliked?" I don't know, man. The haters are out there, but hey, if everybody likes you, then you're doing something wrong, right? So that's how. Or if everybody likes you, then you're boring, right?
Yeah, man. Haters gonna hate. That's just haters gonna
there
hate.
you go.
At the end of the day,
exactly. But hey, they're not gonna stop me. They're not gonna stop you. So definitely not gonna stop you. About Jimmy, man, it's like. Again, they waited too long. Look at Gardner Minshew. I mean, went for a sixth rounder. Minshew's younger. He's more mobile than Jimmy. He's got a much stronger arm. He played on a crappy Jags team, but had you thrown Minshew with all the weapons and all the stuff and the defense and the running game that the Niners had, I think he would have looked a lot better.
That's the
I'm
thing.
not saying, yeah.
Minshew put up, like, if you look at his stats, right? Minshew with the garbage team, straight up doo-doo team in the Jacksonville Jaguars. His first season, obviously the win record is not there, right? Because it's a straight up bad team. He threw like 26 touchdowns and 9 interceptions one season, and he was putting up decent numbers, not MVP caliber numbers, but he was putting decent numbers. Now, obviously that didn't translate to wins. Sorry, excuse me, burp a little bit, but obviously that didn't translate to wins. But still, Minshew played pretty darn good. Jimmy in his one healthy season, right? Now, if you want to count the 2017 season, that was 6 games. That wasn't a full season. In his one healthy season, he threw for like 27 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. And Gardner Minshew put up like 26 touchdowns and 9 interceptions with a bad Jacksonville Jaguars team.
26 TDs and 9 interceptions is good for anybody on any team as far as I'm concerned. Those are really good numbers. Yeah, and a poor Jaguars team. Exactly. And their GM is Trent Baalke, which does not help their cause,
Yeah, that was Doug Marrone was the coach.
I don't know if I don't know if the Panthers showed us any interest. But had they showed us interest, I think we should have jumped right on that. I believe it was
didn't the Patriots show us interest though? I remember last year.
Supposedly they did.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? If I'm Kyle and John Lynch, in my mind, I'm like, before the season, he obviously did take you to the Super Bowl in 2019, but what did he show you last year? He showed you the same thing that he showed you in 2018, that he's an injury-prone player. For second game, like. He sprained his ankle and he was out for majority of the year. Majority of the year with a sprained ankle. And like the one thing I hated is like, oh, Jim will be back in like 4 to 6 weeks. And he like misses like 8 weeks. I'm like, what is this? Like you got the doctors are telling you that he's gonna be back in like 4 to 6 weeks. He's out for like 8 weeks majority of the season. Like that's the thing, right? If I'm the Niners and I gotta trade first, and I heard the Patriots supposedly offered a first rounder for Jimmy. If they did offer a first-round pick for Jimmy, why not pull the trigger and trade Jimmy Garoppolo? Now, I get it. We didn't have a quarterback in the beginning of the season, right? In the beginning of the 2020 season, but there was guys available on the market that you could have gotten in free agency. You could have done something, and you could have gotten rid of Jimmy's contract. The pros, you could have gotten rid of Jimmy's contract. You could have gotten rid of that injury-prone player. But now, if you look at the dilemma that we're stuck in now, you could have also gotten a first rounder if they offer that. Supposedly, that the rumors are true that they offered a first round. You could have gotten a first rounder. You could have used that first rounder, and you could have drafted a quarterback. But instead, you decide not to trade Jimmy. You keep Jimmy on the roster. And now look at this dilemma we're stuck in with the play Trey or play Jimmy. And who knows? Even if Jimmy plays, if he ends up getting hurt, we're gonna have to pay him his money.
Exactly.
It's not one of those things where if Jimmy gets hurt, we don't have to pay him his money. If Jimmy gets hurt, we're going to have to pay him his money. It's not like we can cut him and not pay him his money. We're still going to have to pay him his money either way.
Yeah, our team is very conservative with their way of thinking. I mean, they weren't conservative with jumping up to acquire the picks to acquire Trey Lance. To get rid of the picks to acquire Trey Lance. But they're definitely conservative in their whole way of thinking of, okay, we have Trey, but we're not going to make him the starter because we don't know what we have yet. Or we're not going to trade Jimmy yet because we don't know what we have in Trey. And I get in the beginning, okay, sure, they didn't have him in mini camps or training camp yet, so they didn't know how far advanced he was, even though he had only played one season of college football, and that was a year removed from when we drafted him. But I don't know, man. It's so weird how we're just so conservative and every other team in the league isn't. And I just think it's all about taking gambles. It's all about taking risks. I just hate it how how we are sometimes when it comes to that. We're just sitting down there, like Jimmy. He's not on the field. Jimmy's not a risk taker. He doesn't gamble. I mean, we saw it last week, and somebody got mad at me for just typing up a simple quote on Facebook or whatever about how they did draw up plays for Ayuk. A lot of people didn't know that. Initially, I didn't know that either, but people dissected. I believe it was Jack Hammer, dissected the film, and he's showing, hey, look, they actually did drop some plays for Ayuk as the primary receiver. He's downfield, he's open, he's not getting doubled, and Jimmy's opting to check down. If you're going to check down, how much value he's not going to build any value for himself or for us to possibly trade him. Again, you mentioned the injury history. We could go on, and it's not like we're trying to bash Jimmy. I'm just throwing the whole scenario out there of where this team is at offensively. And hey, people, we did control the ball like crazy in that Eagles game on 2 drives especially. But some people made it sound like because we did that the game was completely out of reach. And it was only within 1 score at the end of the game. At the end of the day, it's not like the Eagles didn't have a chance to win or come back.
We could have been 0-2 this season. Honestly, we could have been 0-2 this season if the Eagles scored 1 more touchdown. We would have lost. If the Lions, they were at the goal line. They were like at the 40-yard line. They found a way to choke it. Otherwise, we would have lost. We would have been 0-2 this season, right? But Jimmy is just those. And outside that, like when you look at Jimmy fans, right? Outside of that 2019 season, and outside of those 6 games that he played in 2017. What other thing can you tell me about Jimmy that's positive? Even in the 2019 season, right? It wasn't him. It wasn't. Yes, the one game that I can bring up and say, yo, Jimmy, you played a good game was against New Orleans Saints in the Superdome. That one single game I could say.
That's the go-to game that people have for the Jimmy argument. It's always the go-to game.
Right? Jimmy played good against Saints and New Orleans Saints in the Superdome. And the other game I could say probably on Halloween night against the Cardinals, where he scored like 4 touchdowns, but still that Cardinals defense was completely whack. It wasn't.
He did good in the Cardinal game though.
He did, but that defense wasn't as good as it is now. It's not. Still, it's not that good because they allowed like 34 to 33 to Minnesota. That defense isn't elite or anything like that. But that one simple game that I bring up in the 2019 season. If you look at some of the other games that we have, right? Let's say week 16 against the Rams. Jimmy throws 2 interceptions. If it wasn't for that blown coverage that Taylor Rapp, the safety, did for the Rams, if it wasn't for that blown coverage, Emmanuel Sanders caught that wide open pass. If it wasn't for that blown coverage, we probably would have lost that game because Jimmy kept getting. If you look, I don't know if you remember, right? Jimmy gets sacked 3rd and 16. Jimmy makes the throw to Kendrick Bourne down the middle. Then it's 1st down again. Then after like couple of plays, 3rd and 16 again, Jimmy gets sacked again, and then he makes that miraculous throw to Emmanuel Sanders. Otherwise, we lost the game.
Yeah. Hey, but good for him. He made that throw. I know it was behind, but at least that season though he did pretty well on 3rd down. To Jimmy's credit, Jimmy did do. But
still, outside that 2019 season, there's nothing you could say about Jimmy.
I got you.
I was a Jimmy fan. I was.
Me too.
A Jimmy fan. 2017 season when he won the 6 games. I remember calling on my dad when he was at work. I was like, Jimmy G just made Jimmy G. When I was watching Brian Hoyer that entire season and all these trashy quarterbacks, I was like, damn, Jimmy G's the real deal. And then when we signed Jimmy G to that $100 million contract, majority of the sports media, they were saying, you're giving him $100 million and he played 6 games? He played 6 games and you're giving him $100 million? Like, Dak Prescott played 4 seasons. And this last season, it was the only year that he necessarily got injured for majority of the year. And now he got a $100 million contract after like 4 seasons of, you have to prove it to us. Jimmy, after playing 6 games, got a $100 million contract instead of signing him to the franchise tag.
We should have tagged him. That's how I look at it. We totally should have tagged him, especially and we're a team with Parag. Parag's like excellent in drawing up contracts. I don't know if that was just Kyle and John just jumping the gun. It didn't make sense to me, but I think if Parag was more involved, maybe he should have told him, "Hey, hold off on this. You guys still haven't seen the whole." You haven't seen him for a full season. Those 5. And don't get me wrong, during that stretch when he first came on the team, I was totally excited about Jimmy.
Yeah.
But that Jimmy was my favorite version of Jimmy. He extended plays. 2019 you didn't even see him extend plays. So it's kind of funny. And this time around, he's trying to be a little bit more mobile this year, which is nice. And it's nice, and it's also kind of scary because he looks like he's about to kill himself half the time he does try to run. You
That
know.
Raiders,
So,
that preseason Raiders game, he like
oh
lowered his
yeah.
shoulder. And I'm like, damn, like Jimmy's about to like break his shoulder or something. Like,
All the people who were like extremely pro Jimmy were like, "Oh, that was awesome. That was great to see." And I was like, hang on. He's a quarterback. He's not Jerome Bettis. He's not like a bruising fullback. That's not smart for your starting quarterback to be going head first in that Raider
yeah,
game. That was pretty funny though. Yeah, we're gonna see how this whole Jimmy trade thing plays out. I just think that in certain situations this season, I think we need Trey out there. We traded all the picks to get the guy. He needs reps. He didn't play a season last year. We need to get him ready to be our starting quarterback of the future. And I'm sorry if that means that we're not going to be giving Jimmy enough reps. I'm sorry if that means, this might ruin his trade value. I don't think he has much. I'm with you. I don't think he has much value to begin with, anyways. And we're pretty much just stuck with him. And Tommy Huxley said something. I don't know if he's willing to put money on this, but he said Jimmy isn't getting hurt. Whoa, that's pretty bold. It's a bold
that's
statement right
bold,
there, buddy.
especially looking at Jimmy's injury history. Especially look at Jimmy's injury history. 2018 gets hurt, 2020 gets hurt. Now, and that 2017 he obviously played 6 games, but already 2 seasons as a Niner he's been injured, and he's been injured for majority of the season. So like at the end of the day, especially with this year, he has more risk of getting injured, especially with him running more. Like that head first play in the Raiders game, right? If he's running more, that makes him more injured. That makes him more prone to getting injured. Like same thing with Trey Lance, same thing with every mobile quarterback. When you run more, that makes you more prone to injury. And last year Jimmy got hurt without running. Now he is trying to run. Now he is trying to trying to extend plays. And if he does that, and if he gets hurt, that has a higher risk of him getting hurt because he is trying to extend plays. He is putting himself in risky situations. That gives him a better chance of getting injured.
Okay, so let's go back to. Oh, hang on. We got a question from Corey Davis. What's Corey Davis saying? Are you worried about our running game against Green Bay? We kind of touched on this earlier. If you're gonna, I'll answer it first. I'll have Amin answer it later. I'm not too worried just for the fact that I hear Green Bay's run defense isn't that great to begin with, and we're so good at blocking with our run game. Alex Mack. Let me. I'll touch on Jimmy G again right after I answer this question. Alex Mack looked really good last week, and McGlinchey is looking excellent in the run game. Trent Williams is just a monster. He was, oh my god, in the pass game and the run game last week. Trent Williams looked excellent. So I like what I see from our O line a lot in general. So with that said, I just think Trey Sermon. Hopefully he has a pretty good game, and whoever else is going to help him. I just like our plug and play on running back system. And really quick, I wanted to mention this because it was about Jimmy G. I was going to mention it earlier because you said 2019. What does Jimmy have and what does he do? Like I used to ask people like last offseason, name me one elite trait of Jimmy G's game. What's an elite aspect of his game? And nobody can really mention that. But after watching this past game, I was thinking, okay, one thing Jimmy G's really good at is quarterback sneaks. For whatever reason, quarterback sneaking, Jimmy G's good at that.
Though. He learned it
What's
from
that?
Brady. He learned it from Brady.
Yeah, Brady's really good at it too. That's the only thing he learned from Brady. It seems like he didn't learn much else.
One thing I don't understand how he didn't learn from Brady is that especially when Brady did it to his Super Bowl, even the Super Bowl, right? And any game, when Brady's getting pressured, he's not a mobile quarterback, so he's not going to run out the pocket and scramble. When Brady's getting pressured, he knows there's no open receivers. He'll just throw it out of bounds. Jimmy, for what? I don't get it. What reason? He'll stand like a statue. I'm like, did you not watch Brady throw the football out of bounds? I'm pretty sure it hit you at least one time. I'm pretty sure it at least hit you one time when he threw the ball out of bounds. You do not see that? You just stand in a statue and you stand like a statue and you get sacked over and over and over again instead of throwing it out of bounds and losing yards.
Yeah, to Jimmy's credit, he didn't get sacked this year. I think that he did throw the ball at one point in the Eagles game. I could have sworn I saw him throw the ball away for a change. Last year, I complained about that a lot, that he wasn't throwing the ball away. And I remember C.J. Beathard came in towards the end of the season. He was throwing the ball away. It's like, wait, if C.J. Beathard could do that, why can't Jimmy do it? It's kind of like a simple thing that quarterbacks know. If there's nothing there, throw the ball away. You don't want to take a 20-yard or 15-yard sack. But as far as our running game goes, you want to answer Corey's question? I know we kind of talked about that earlier.
I'm not really that worried. I mean, the Eagles running game, now obviously we do have injuries at the running back position. We did struggle with the run game against the Eagles, but the Packers defense is really not that good at stopping the run. And now, especially Darius Smith is injured, we should have an easy time running the football down Green Bay's throat. I feel like we will do efficiently. I'm not saying that Trey Sermon's gonna pop off and have a 100-yard game against the Packers, but I think we will be pretty efficient running the football against the Packers, especially with Zadarius Smith's injury.
Yeah, I'm not worried about our running game too much. I am a little bit worried about stopping their run game. So because I like our defensive tackles a lot. They looked excellent throughout the preseason. They look great throughout camp. But week one, they looked a little questionable. They looked a bit better against the Eagles.
And Kinlaw's questionable.
Yes,
who was a huge part of that Eagles game and stopping the run, he's questionable with the knee injury. And I heard he hurt it a little bit in the Eagles game. So if he's out, that's gonna be a huge problem. So Contavious Street is not as good as Javon Kinlaw stopping the run, nor is DJ Jones as good as Javon Kinlaw stopping the run. That's one thing that Javon Kinlaw does really well is stopping the run and limiting the run. So if he's out for the game, that's going to be a huge problem. That I don't necessarily think it's a huge problem, but that's going to definitely be a blow for us.
Oh, yeah. I like Kinlaw a lot. I just want to see him on the field. He needs to be on the field more. He blocked a field goal for us, too. When was the last time you watched a 49er game and you saw somebody block a field goal?
Yeah.
And in general, our special teams, I touched on this on the postgame show, our special teams looks really nice. And Mitch Wisnowski's proven that he was worth getting drafted. I mean, if he can punt like that continuously, that's going to be a huge plus for our defense, without a doubt. Hopefully Kinlaw and the other D tackles step up. I do like Contavious Street. I like Kerr. I like DJ Jones. To me, at certain points in times, if used properly, I do like Armstead. I just think this defense our D tackles have no excuse but to stop the run. I just think they're too talented to, if they don't stop the run, it's a huge disappointment. And even though we are facing Aaron Jones, he had 67 yards and a touchdown versus the Detroit Lions this past game. I still think that.
He did in the passing game though.
I did not. I didn't catch that. It said he had six catches for 48 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Fantasy last week. It was not pretty. He was like
3 TDs.
He dropped like 41 points on me in fantasy last week.
Yeah, wow.
Like 4 touchdowns or something like that. It was not fun. It was not fun.
So Fred Warner and Aziz Al-Sha'ar, they have a lot under their belt, as far as coverage goes, and just watching him in general, it's not going to be easy to watch to watch Aaron Jones at all. Our linebackers got to step up in the absence of Greenlaw too. I like Greenlaw a lot. It sucks that he got injured. Let's see. Says local 49er fan, what's up, man? Good supporter of the channel. Says last time we blocked a field goal was week 17, 2015 against the Rams.
I went to that game.
You were at the game. Okay, there you go.
And the funny thing is, I don't even remember why I didn't remember that, because I went back and tried to watch the Jim Tomsula and the Chip Kelly days just this morning. I was just boring, I was like, let me pull up some highlights of that Chip Tomsula. I watched that game back. The first time we played the Rams that season, we got destroyed in St. Louis, and then I don't know what happened in the last game, but we played really well. We played really well. So when I watched that game back, we blocked the field goal, and I was like, I remember being at that game, so that was an amazing moment.
Okay, so I think it's safe to say, who do you think is going to be the leading receiver of this game?
For
us, for the 49ers.
Oh, it's
our leading receiver.
It's Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel, for some reason, I don't get why no other defense has, but we know Jimmy Garoppolo's strength is passing in the middle. And no team has, I don't like Deebo's majority of his yards just coming out the middle, where he just runs some sort of slant, and Jimmy passes him. He runs 20, 30, yards after catch. He just gets to 20, 30 yards after catch. I think Deebo's going to be leading receiver. George Kittle, obviously, now George Kittle did have a good game in 2019, I think, on Sunday Night Football against the Packers, but they really haven't been utilizing George Kittle as much. And when George Kittle did have some of those pop-off games, it wasn't with Jimmy under center. It was more, majority of the time, it was with Nick Mullins or CJ Beathard under center, and they would target him a lot. But this year, George Kittle hasn't been the same beast that he was last year and the years prior. But I think it's going to be Deebo Samuel. For the Packers, though, obviously, I think it's Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is just such a good, talented receiver. And he's obviously Aaron Rodgers' favorite target. So for the Packers, I would say Devontae Adams. And for us, I think it's Deebo Samuel.
And we also have to worry about Robert Tonyan, their tight end. And you mentioned Aaron Jones out of the backfield. He had the 3 TDs for them. I want to see Ayuk get involved. I know Deebo's probably going to be the leading receiver, but part of me thinks it might be Kittle. But if it's Ayuk, I'll be more than ecstatic because I want to see Ayuk get involved.
I think Jair Alexander's going up against Deebo.
Okay, probably. Mm-hmm.
Then that's the thing, right? I hope Deebo pops up, but that's I don't know. I'll be shocked if Deebo has over 100 yards, especially against Jair Alexander, because Jair Alexander is a lockdown corner. He shuts down guys like Allen Robinson and Justin Jefferson.
Well, it's whoever Jair's not covering is who I'm thinking should have the big game. Is it going to be
Yeah.
Debo? Is it going to be Ayuk? Pick your poison at this point. We also do have Trent Sherfield in the mix as well, who a lot of people are high on. It's funny because Steve Young was talking about this. I don't know if you heard Steve Young's rant on KMBR where he was talking about how he thinks it's absurd that a man of Ayuk's talents is not being used to the capacity that he should be. Hopefully, we see it in this game. I think the last game, I don't know. It's just Jimmy. I hate to bash on Jimmy. We keep going back to him, but it's like the guy's just like scared to throw down the field for whatever reason there is. I don't. And you, sure, we can win games against certain teams by dinking and dunking and throwing those slants because we had great run after the catch threats on our team. We have a pretty good run game at times, and we got a great tight end or whatever, but when you play the really, really good teams, you're going to have to throw the ball down the field
Yeah,
and outside the numbers.
like for example, like one team like KC, right? We obviously didn't beat KC in the Super Bowl, but one thing about KC is that if you look at their prior years when they won the Super Bowl in 2019, their defense isn't necessarily that good. Their defense is okay, but their offense is just so elite and so good that their defense doesn't have to be elite to win games. Their offense is just so good that the defense could be okay, they could be all right, they could be decent, and they win games, right? And if you look at Jimmy, one thing that Mahomes is really well is throw the ball downfield. If you let's say supposedly, right? Supposedly we make it this road, which I don't think is gonna happen, and we play Kansas City. If Jimmy can't throw the ball down the field, we're not gonna be able to win because no matter even if we could score, with the run we could score some points. One thing about like if you go up against Mahomes is that you're not gonna be able to beat Mahomes unless you're able to outscore Mahomes. You're just not. Even better quarterbacks like Josh Allen couldn't beat Mahomes. So if we expect to beat teams like Kansas City or good teams that can throw the ball down the field efficiently, Jimmy's gonna have to throw the ball downfield, and if he can't do that, we're not gonna be able to win games like the Rams or like if we play Kansas City.
Yeah, I never once spoke of Super Bowl expectations. A lot of fans do bring it up though for this team. For me, I'm just hoping we can make it to the playoffs. That's been my hope the whole time, regardless of who the quarterback is.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can squeak into the playoffs, make the playoffs somehow. My season prediction was 10-7. So let me see what local 49ers fan is saying here. He said whomever is going against Kevin King, I'm assuming, will have the most receiving yards this Sunday night. Okay, that's the other cornerback opposite of Jair Alexander.
Yeah, really,
that's what we were assuming. Yeah, is he worse than our corners?
It's not that he's worse. It's just that he's just so it's like he might be worse. Honestly, he just doesn't like.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
He got hurdled by DeAndre so bad. He's like,
oh, I saw that.
And he died for it. I'm like, bro, what is that? You should wait till he tries to make the move.
Yeah, it was kind of a weak hurdle too. It wasn't even a good hurdle like the Ayuk one. It was kind of like a weak one. Yeah, I remember that one.
The Scotty Miller touchdown in the NFC Championship game. Scotty Miller burns by him, and then when Kevin King's turned around, he's like, "Oh, I'm getting a beat." He's trying to recover.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to our little predictions. Who do you think scores the first touchdown for the 49ers?
I say Trey Sermon because we do like to run the
ball. We do.
I don't think we're gonna pass the ball that much unless like a third or second down situation. I think if you look at the end zone, sometimes if we're on the 15-20 yard line, we'll get a big run and we'll score against the touchdown. I think it's gonna be Trey Sermon for the Niners. I think he's gonna get the first touchdown.
I'm thinking Kittle. The guys do. Maybe he scores one later in the game, or maybe he scores the first one. But it wouldn't surprise me if Sermon got the first one either. Or maybe you never know. Jimmy might do another elite quarterback sneak behind Alex Mack, man. He's gonna channel his inner Steve Young. Let's see. Kevin King won't be ready for Debo's physicality. Debo looks really explosive. I love Debo. Yeah. I love Ayuk too. Though I want to see both.
I love more than Debo though. DK Metcalf and AJ Brown. Okay, I'm just saying.
Okay. Look at Mr. Seahawk fan over here. I don't know, man. AJ Brown's in Tennessee. They're both really good. They're both excellent.
AJ Brown and DK Metcalf. Imagine Lance throwing to
Yeah. Bayer Baller says 18. No, says Sermon. Yeah, we run the ball out, so probably it could be Sermon. We don't even know who the other running backs playing are. That's the funny thing about it. To even raise such a question, it's hard. We may not know until an hour before game time. All right, so ask that question. How about score predictions? And what do you think the final score is going to be?
I say 28 Niners, 24 Packers. I say we win it. I think it's going to be a close one. I don't think it's going to be a blowout or anything unless the defensive line plays exceptionally well. Even if the D-line plays exceptionally well, I just think with Devontae Adams and our cornerbacks not being so good, I think the Packers are going to be able to score some points. And Javon Kittle is also questionable. So I think with all the factors, with both teams have injuries and all of that, I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Niners are going to pull it out to 28-24. But it's definitely
Wait, say that score again.
28-24. Niners.
2024. Okay. I was thinking 30-21. So we're gonna find out come Sunday. It's gonna be Sunday Night Football,
Dude, I love
home
Sunday.
opener. I love night games at Levi's. People rag on Levi's all they want. They must have never been to a home game, a night game at Levi's, because those are lit. Oh, here we go. We got right here. It's been, he's late for the party. I was about to wrap things up, but
Go
we
sub
got
to his channel. Go sub to his channel.
We got J Mango 3 said this could be one of the best teams right here. 49er reminded him to mean, hey man, I'm just trying like everybody else, he's a Cone Foam Hall of Famer. I've only called him on there one time. J Mangold, he buys a lot of like trading cards, and he buys the ones with like players' autographs in them sometimes. So he'll do live streams on his channel where he's opened up the cards live, open up the packs live, and it's pretty fun to watch. So if you're into that stuff, go ahead and subscribe to J Mango 3. He's a good dude, big supporter of the channel. So I'm thinking 31-20. We win our home opener in front. I want to see that Levi's crowd rocking. I want to see that stadium rocking.
Yeah.
We haven't been. This is preseason doesn't count. This is our first time back in over a year, and it should be very exciting. Okay, we got local 49ers fans saying something right here. It says David Bakhtiari, their left tackle's out, and Elton Jenkins, their starting left tackle / left guard, is doubtful. Hopefully the D-line takes advantage. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking Bosa.
Should have 2 sacks, if not.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying 21. I'm expecting more than 2 from Bosa. I'm expecting 4 from Bosa. How about that? Let's get 4 sacks for Bosa.
I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna say that performance, okay?
But hey, if he's going up against a third string, we saw what he did Jordan Mailata. Jordan Mailata, I was so scared of, man. Watching that guy in week 1, freaking 6'8", 350 pounds.
I expect him to have 2 sacks or more. I'm not gonna be like, yo, Nick Bosa gonna have like 7 sacks. Nick Bosa's gonna pop off. No, I expect him to have 2 sacks. It's not.
I mean, Jordan Mailata's a monster, and Nick Bosa freaking bulldozed him on one play. He bulldozed him into Jalen Hurts, and then tackled Jalen Hurts. I was like, whoa, look at Bosa, man. So hey, and it's not just Bosa. We got other guys that can rush the passer too. So I want it to be a collective effort, without a doubt. The more, the merrier. Any final thoughts, Amin? By the way, before we wrap this up,
I appreciate you having me on. I don't get that many channel invites, so whenever I do, I'm glad to hop on anybody's show. I appreciate you, Joe. I appreciate you having me on, Bashar.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. I was definitely planning on having you on in the future. It just didn't necessarily come to mind right away. But we had a little short chat, and you were asking me, "Hey, when's your next stream?" And I drew a blank. Like, I don't know when my next stream is. I was like, "Hey, let's have you on. Let's have you on to talk about the pregame. Before we play the Packers. Why not? You're free. Okay, cool, perfect. So you're on." I was gonna say, for those of you who watch my show from time to time, you guys have always seen Amin the Dream in the chat. Big supporter of the channel, which I love. And it's funny because I had Crypto Ryan on twice, and each time I asked Crypto Ryan to wrap things up, he's like, I can't even do his voice. He's got this like deep, monotonous voice, like, get Amin the Dream 1,000 subs. Subscribe to Amin the Dream and make sure he gets 1,000. I had to totally piss poor impression of Crypto Ryan. That's my boy.
You sound like Bane from Batman, okay?
Bane.
Nobody cares who I was.
I'm usually pretty good at impressions, depending on who the person is. But there are those people. There are those people that I cannot impersonate, and Crypto Ryan's one of them. He's a good dude, man. Oh yeah. J Mango says he has to watch from the beginning. Yeah, hopefully we pull this win out. But yeah, definitely wrapping things up here. And hey man, I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I'm not going to the game. My friends, what's up?
Bro, any Niners game, I'm excited. Win or loss, I prefer the win, but any Niners game, I'm excited, bro. But it's so dreaded going to the school week, bro. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm like, bro, it's only Wednesday. Like, come on, when is Sunday coming?
Oh yeah, and especially if you lose, you got to deal with all those people that are trash talkers.
Not even
trash talking the Niners.
Wait till another week. And that
yeah.
You a win, right?
Oh yeah. You have to wait for the next week, and it's even worse if we get injuries. So let's remain healthy. W's important, but health is also important. Keep your fingers crossed. Thank you very much for everybody who contributed in the chat. I'm pretty sure I got to everybody in the chat, said what's up to everybody. We answered a lot of questions. I I was really happy that I finally got to have Amin the Dream on here. It's been a lot of fun. And for those of you who always mention my theme song, it's coming up in a second, man. Keep repping those 49ers and stay 49er minded.
Because
Peace.
it's 49er minded.
He said it.
Come on, 49er faithful, let's get it.
Because it's 49er mind.
We gotta do this one time for the Empire.
It's 49er mind. It's 49er mind.
We gotta get that brick by brick real quick.
49er mind.
Yeah, yo, we can't listen to them haters, man.
49er mind.
We from the Bay.
49er mind.
We them San Francisco 49ers.
49er mind.
We got that red and gold blood inside us.
49er mind.